Hello everyone, this is Sandy with Needs a Ribbon, and we are here with a fun fold. Yes, we're going to put the fun in folding our cardstock. And for this episode, we're going to try the Swing Out Fun Fold. And here's the base card. And I used the Arches dies from Stampin' Up. And check this out. As we open it, it swings. This is what it looks like top down. I call this part the pillar. I'll be talking about that as we make it. And it just mails like a regular card would. Let me show you, actually, let's do this and then I will show you some other examples. I'm going to put this one aside, and I like how the arch is paired with the always and forever, meaning a wedding, church, you know, arched window. I thought that kind of stayed on theme. I'm going to put this one aside somewhere, and let's get started. The instructions will be at the very end of the video, and they are pretty thorough instructions. So we will need our trimmer. We will need our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. We will need a 2 to 3 colors of cardstock that coordinate, and some DSP pattern paper if you want. We will also need an open die that opens no more than 3 1/4 by 4 1/2, so an inch smaller than a standard card front, or a 1/2 inch border going all the way around the die for that opening. That's why the arches work well. I have some other samples. We'll get to those eventually, but in the meantime, let's go ahead and get started. Let's start with cutting our card base. That's step 1. So we're just going to cut a standard card base to 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and we want to score that at 4 1/4. And you could just burnish it. I like to actually score because I feel that it gives you a better finish. And I have buried my bone folder. Okay, so I like to burnish that a little bit. We're going to be burnishing, so you're going to want to have a bone folder handy. So that is our card front. Let us go ahead and cut our other cardstock. For this project, I'm also going to use Lemon Lolly, and we'll cut that to a standard card front layer, as it were, to 5 1/4 by 4. And we're not done with that, but we're nearly done. I'm not sure. So hold on that. Actually, nope, we're going to use this. We're going to take in, and so that's Lemon Lolly and Timid Tiger. So now we need to take the other part of our card base that we have extra, and we're going to cut a last minute decision. I didn't fully plan this, to 1 7/8 wide by 4 7/8 inch long. We're going to set that aside. We're done with this cardstock. I hope so. At least I believe so. We need some more cardstock. I'm going to use white for this. And we need to cut this piece for this. And here, I'll bring in my card. I'm going to use this for the pillar part. I'm going to use white like I did here. The Lemon Lolly is the representative of, here is our yellow. Darling Duckling. So I'm not using yellow on purpose. It just is what worked with the paper I wanted to use from. So we need to cut a strip 5. And we're going to save this for any potential greetings by 8. And since I know this is 8 1/2 wide, I'm just going to go ahead, rather than swing my arm out, I'm just going to take that 1/2 inch right off right there. And we need to take our pillar and we need to score it at 2, 4, 6. 2, so 3 score lines. 4, and again, I don't like to swing out my arm, especially when I have a narrow field of view right here, and 6. So it gives us 2, 2, 2, 2 panels, okay? I'm not quite done with that. Okay, we're gonna set the pillar aside for a minute. I wanna come in and I am using the paper that is called A Splash of Sprinkles. And so we're gonna use a splash of sprinkles for this card, and I'm going to cut this. We don't need much of it, and it's such a pretty paper. To 1 3/4 wide by 4 3/4 tall. Look at the back of that paper. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I just love the colors in this paper. They're bright, but they're not like super intense bright, like your typical kindergarten, you know, red, orange, green, yellow. They're a little softer than that, like just a couple steps away from those colors. Okay, so we've got this. Now let's work with our pillar piece for a moment. This is our piece cut 5 by 8, scored at 2, 4, 6, and we're going to mountain fold, and we're going to burnish. That's what it calls when you press with your bone folder. It's called burnishing your score lines. Burnish. So we mountain, and then this one is a valley. So it looks like this, or bringing the card back in, it's this piece. So mountain, valley. Got it? Got it. Okay. So working with this piece for a minute, and we're going to get to our die cutting and stuff in a moment. This is this panel. That's where you'd put your greeting. You might put a greeting over here. But if you wanted to do any stamping or anything here, now is the time to do this while this piece is still relatively flat. Even though we burnished it, that's fine. We need to know where we can apply our stuff. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to stamp. I am using the Balloon Festoon stamp set and die. Balloon Festoon. So this is a stamp that has some little curly cues like confetti and whatnot, and we're just gonna stamp randomly like that, hopefully. And that might be it for the Lemon Lolly ink, since I'm going with that color scheme. Then let's come in and Timid Tiger to go with the card base. And I'm going to take the Hip Hip Hooray from the stamp set and stamp that. I measured ahead of time. It just barely fits. So, yeah, we'll do it up here. There. Our Hip Hip Hooray. I'm not done with this, but I am done with it for right now. So I'm going to go ahead and shut that ink pad. And because we'll be stamping our greeting, our happy birthday greeting. Actually, why don't we go ahead and do that now? Yes, let's get all our stamping done. That way it can dry out. And this is still a fairly new stamp. I've used it some, but it's still got a little bit of that sticky. That's okay. I'm going to stamp happy birthday from the Balloon Festoon in Timid Tiger. And I'm just kind of winging this. I really don't know what in particular I'm going to do with this, quite frankly. And that's okay. That's fun. You can, yeah, we're going to fussy cut this out kind of. The card has kind of a lot of structure, I feel, which is why I am fussy cutting out the greeting to give it, kind of free it up a little bit. That's just one way to explain it. Yep. I like that. Kind of goes with the curves of a potential balloon, right? Okay, so we have done some stamping, we've done some cutting. We're gonna set this stuff aside, and we need to bring in our Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine, or whatever die cutting machine you use. Of course, I'm gonna recommend the Stampin' Up! One. As I drop my other recut pieces, hold on the floor. Not expected. Okay, so I'm gonna bring in my machine, and here's where we get fun. Here's where we get fun. I need a Post-it note, or just bring in a Post-it note or some washi tape or something with some temporary hold. For this step, we need to grab our card base now. And I'm hoping this works. The other cards that I made used a slightly different shape, but any shape in theory that is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2 should work, right? So I've challenged myself to use the balloon. And we want to get that, I want it centered. Does it have to be centered? No, but you want to make sure you've got enough cardstock for substance around it. And without sticking my head over it, it looks fairly centered. So we're going to cut that out of the card front. So that is your card folded flat and whatever you consider your front panel for this card, for this project. There we go. And again, I hope this works. I thought it was a cute idea, and I really like the balloon festoon bundle. Yeah, that's pretty straight, or it's straight enough for this project. But I'm going to do something that I haven't done on my other projects that I'm hoping will look okay. So if you bear with me, I'm going to emboss my giant balloon that I just cut out. Again, I'm going with I think it'll work. And I can always push it flat if it leaves too many gaps, but it should work. Plus, I love this folder. I'll show you it. It's a new online exclusive folder from Stampin' Up! And I don't remember the name of it, but it is new and it came out for Halloween. But I have been using it all over the place. It's got swirls and stars and whatnot. I mean, it would be great for Christmas, for Halloween, for any celebration, really. So go grab that. I will put this stuff aside because I am done with my die cutting machine, and hopefully I won't. Now I just want to check that it didn't take up, no, it didn't, barely took up any gap. Actually, that's going to be good. The fraction of the what my dad would call the kerf line took it up just a little bit, which means it's probably going to swing a little bit freer. This one still hangs up occasionally. So if you were to just cut out a basic rectangle or circle, I recommend that you go just an invisible amount, slightly smaller, so that it doesn't catch when it swings. That's, again, I've been working with dies and all of that, but now let's go ahead and put our project together. Okay, I want to make sure that we are burnished so that it folds flat. Burnish. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm going to put my bone folder aside, or I'm going to keep doing that. Whatever adhesive you prefer working with, I recommend the Green Glue Tombow multi-purpose adhesive for this, just because you get a little play in it. But it isn't super important. And that's our card base, what it looks now. We cut out that opening, that big open die. So next we need to build our card. So we're going to put our card layer, which is 4, if you remember right, 4 by 5 1/4. I just rubbed it on my sweats. They're dirty anyway. They need washing. And they're pink. So we're going to put down a card layer. Just gives it a little extra visual interest and really makes that tower pop. Or pillar, sorry, really, I'm trying to stick to consistent wording. Makes the pillar pop. Next, we need to put together, if we want to decorate this is our time. I like how there's just a little bit of pink, and one of the elements I'm going to be adding has just a shade of pink. So we're going to be adding this to the side of the pillar right there, just in that valley, on the left side of the valley. And I'm sure by now you can see that actually once you kind of get the basic card, it comes together really easy and fast. It really, honestly, I feel after I made the first one, I'm like, yeah, this is easy. I didn't have the greatest time finding instructions. I saw a lot of samples of people using this, but instructions were kind of hard to come by, which is why I will put them at the end of the video and you can pause and take a look at those. Or if you want them emailed to you, you can certainly do that. But we are ready to put our tower in place. So what we're going to do is, again, I prefer green glue because it has a little bit of flexibility. If you are really accurate, you use tape then. I haven't used tape in years just because I like to be able to mush the glue in, number one. And so we're going to build like an 1/8 inch border going all the way around on the right side of the inside of the card. That's where we're going to place that valley, the right side of the valley. Got that? So that's where we're working from. Okay, so the next part that we need to adhere, these two parts of the pillar don't attach. They attach to something, but not everything. Pay attention. So you may want to listen and then come back to the step, pause and rewind, or I'll repeat it. So we need to attach our pillar to our card front, right? To make the pillar so it swings open. It's a swing card, right? Okay. So hold on before I start explaining this. Sorry, take a big drink. This is what I have learned in making, this will be my 4th iteration of this card, and I'm feeling there's going to be more. You want to make sure, since this is 5 inches and this is 5 1/2, that you're in at least 1/4 of an inch from your top and bottom and in a little bit from here. So you've got only a little bit of window where you can attach. Okay? Let's repeat that. You need to make sure you're in at least 1/4 of an inch from the top and bottom and in a little bit from your fold. Okay, we're going to put our adhesive on the back side of our card front. And there's a reason for that. And we want to make sure that we don't go past the halfway point either. Being very careful. You may have to wipe off some excess, like I know I went too far there. I know that I'm gonna have to wipe that off. Again, that's what pants are for. So this is how I found the easiest way to then smush these together, is to take this flap and fold it all the way back. See that? Take that side of the pillar, your far left side of your pillar, and fold it all the way back and lay your card perfectly flat. And I've just a little bit of glue tidy to do to there. In fact, we can take, I use these mono sand erasers. They're a little bit expensive. They're an art eraser. But that actually, since we don't have those adhesive erasers anymore, they used to be like $2 Stampin' Up! Carried them for years, and when I went to go look at my stash of them, they are all dried out. It this actually does shed a little sand or whatever, but it works to, you know, remove your adhesive. Just a little tip there, and that's okay. That allowed me to press that a little bit and make sure might be a little bit off. You see that? My cutting might have been a little, something might have been off, and that's okay. It's all gonna work. So folds flat this way. Something got shifted along the way, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. We're good. And that's where we should be. Okay. Now, having made now 4 of these, I like to put my swing out piece on with dimensionals. You may want to do it flat, whichever your adhesive preference, or tear and tape, whatever your adhesive preference. Heed my warning. You only can put it in this zone, not on this side at all. You do not want to go past that mountain there, only on the right side of your pillar there. Okay, I'm going to use dimensionals because that's just what I like the look of. So I'm going to put my dimensionals. I'm not going to put it on the back of here because I don't know where I'm placing them. This way I absolutely 100% know that I am placing them on this side. And I know what my boundary is. And you do however many, if you do dimensionals, however many that you like. That's a fair amount. Why do I have a little hair in there? That's interesting. Well, we're just gonna that's kind of bugging me. There, we gave her a haircut. I'm gonna put one more there. That should be good. Yep. Okay, so then I'm gonna go ahead and peel off my backs of my dimensionals. Okay. If you're just using straight glue or straight tape, you listen to my advice is you're going to want to make sure using the left side opening, because there's no adhesive there, and make sure that you are absolutely in your window. And see, I'm a little bit off there. And I had a feeling I might be because I don't want to stick my head into the camera. And that's okay. We're good. We're good now. You see how that swings? I like that embossed look a lot. And yeah, somehow my card got pulled funny, and that's okay. It's all good. I'm not super stressed about it. I really am not. So I used I have to look up the name of the paper again. I mentioned it. I specifically cut, since they're dies, I could position them anywhere on the paper. My balloons to coordinate, and I'm going to put those on also with dimensionals. Actually, I'm not going to put that one on with dimensionals. I'm just going to use straight adhesive on this one. And so when you're attaching stuff to your open window or your swing out piece, make sure nothing goes over your right side. Your left side you can, because you see how it swings, but you don't want anything to go on the right side or it's going to catch every time you open it. Okay? So that is one tip from me to you. And yeah, now I'm going to put some dimensionals on. I'd only loosely pre-planned this, so hopefully this turns out well with you guys. And I've got gold foil balloon too. And I'm going to put some dimensionals on there. Again, because of how the mechanism works, you just don't want anything catching on that side. But it can lay over on the left side. Again, I kind of planned this, kind of not. I mean, yes, I did in theory, but something like that. That works. Okay. I mean, you can stamp there too. We could take our, it's already, well, you could kind of stamp afterwards. Let's try it. Let's experiment. If I could find my stamp set. I've got some ideas. So I'm going to take the polka dots from the Balloon Festoon stamp set and mount them on here. And again, I've never used this piece, and I'm going to just stamp to give it a little something in Timid Tiger. But we'll give it a whirl. It does help. It is going to help that balloon pop, isn't it? That might be enough. I might be happy with that. But just to decorate that, again, if you're going to decorate that part, do it beforehand. That was risky of me, but it worked out. I'm happy with that. Next, we need to finish her off. We need to put on our happy birthday, and I want to put, I kind of wanted to put some strings on there. I'm not sure how to execute that. Again, you're just seeing me in real time, really figuring this out. Will it still, it's thin enough string, so it's just our white baker's twine. Yes, we're gonna try it. We're gonna try it. If not, learn from me. And I'm gonna tie that on. It does catch a little, kind of. Kind of yes, kind of no. Does put a lot of tension on that lower part though. Okay. Okay, I'm okay. Get that a little trim. That should have gone the other way. It's okay. We might just I'll figure out how to finish this off. I'm honestly I have glue dots somewhere. I have an idea. Should make it really kind of fun, and we still need to put our greeting on. So to use a glue dot at its very minimum, you take and you roll it up, and it's still enough adhesive and you can kind of hide it. It's So you just kind of bunch it up. And we're just gonna leave that hanging. I like that, just like the balloons floating away. Okay, we still need to put our greeting on. I'm not forgetting about her. And I want 3 dimensionals. It's a very dimensional card. Again, it's still not going to be that fat that I think in the US. It's still going to be mailable. Shouldn't be a problem. And we want to make sure that it doesn't go over there, but it can swing the other way. Like that. It's hanging up because of the string. And let's see if we can do something about that. You know what? Let's swing it this way. Real-time problem solving, people. And now I've touched the glue dots so much it's got barely any adhesive left. But it swings a lot better. And then you could add in, I did bring over some other embellishments somewhere. I actually brought in the retired Timid Tiger ribbon. I thought it was too much orange, but I did anyway. But we also have these retired adhesive back metal gems, which again, pulling in that gold. I don't have a lot of retired items. This is one that I've hung on to. Ooh, yeah. Just thinking of placement. Rule of 3, you know. Glad I hung on to these. Yeah, we'll put that by the happy birthday. Ooh, I like it. So here is our swing out fun fold with our string, which is, might need some play. Not my best work when it comes to that, but where is it hanging? Oh, my happy birthday is hanging. Okay, we can fix that. Again, these are just problems that need to be solved. Don't want to bend it too much. I just need to make sure it's not sticking so it swings. That was the problem too, and now it shows there. That's okay, we'll just tuck that in there. Again, wouldn't be the first time I've done that either. We're gonna just, problems to be solved. There. Just was hanging up. It's a little bit showy, but that's okay. I tied that going the wrong direction. It's okay, but it works. So there is our swing out fun fold for a birthday using the balloon festoon. Let's go ahead and take a look at some other ones that I did. So this is the one that I showed you using the arches and the Everyday Essentials DSP, and I can't remember what stamp set, but yeah. And you could write a greeting there. You could even, if you really wanted, put a little photo in there. I mean, if you're just gonna give it to them like this, you can stick a treat in there. Anyway, here's one that I demonstrated how that got goopy. I don't know. I don't like that. How that got a little goopy. I don't know what that is. That's not adhesive. Not sure. Anyway, This is using the perennial postage. Again, the same paper and our Begonia Belle product of the month for July. And using some elements there. And then my wow version for Halloween, our Raven's Tail stamp set. And hopefully you can see where I put, how is this stuff getting? Jeepers. A little bit of Wink Stella for some definition. And the crow eye, I did a little bit of work, a little bit of Wink Stella and a little bit of gel pen to kind of make that pop and be a little bit creepy. And then it swings out, and this is what we're, and I roughed up the paper a little bit. Two-tone paper would have been great for this too, but I roughed up the paper a little bit because again, it's Halloween. Things are spooky, they're distressed. So those are our projects. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, learning how to make the Swing Out Fun Fold card. Stay tuned for the instructions, and we'll see you in the next one. This has been Sandy with needsaribbon.com, and I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Share it with others. Be sure that you are following me to get updated when I post videos. I've been back to posting a lot more videos, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.